Why the left are reasonable people and those on the right are not. Or why the church ought never negotiate with secularists. The left is always willing to negotiate. No issue or problem arises without the left wanting to talk through it. The left has a reputation for being intolerant, which they are, but intolerance and a willingness to negotiate are not necessarily inconsistent. The left finds the right intransigent. The right does not like to negotiate. The left usually discovers early in the debate the right is not willing to compromise. It is when the right digs in their heels and refuses to make concessions that the left becomes irate. A key feature of any debate for the left is to set out a negotiated position. The right rushes to occupy a defensive position which it defends and will not retreat from. The right views a negotiation akin to a war. In the conservative mind, a negotiation has winners and losers. The left looks at a negotiation as a spectrum of levers, some which will be recalibrated down, and others will gain some ground. For liberals, the positions of both negotiators move left and right, and there are no outright winners or losers. Imagine a debate regarding homelessness. The left has put forward a program that would see 10,000 housing units built over the next year. Their opponents on the right object to the cost. Instead of debating how many shelters ought to be built or how to reduce unit costs, the conservative refuses to provide any funding at all. It is at this point that the left becomes frustrated. Obviously, if the total is too high or the cost too much, then negotiate for lower values. This basic scenario will play out time and time again. Someone on the left will develop a program that addresses a social problem, and the right will refuse to consider the merits of the program. This problem is made worse when conservatives gain power and begin to defund social programs. The left is usually willing to debate the virtues of different programs and talk about scaling them back, whereas the goal on the right is often to eliminate the program entirely. We see more intolerance on the right when religious matters are brought up. Atheists are far more tolerant than the right in matters of religion. The left is always willing to accommodate various viewpoints and positions. Christians are usually dogmatic in the insistence the church is not to be governed by political considerations. As regards to issues such as sex education, Christians do not want it taught at all, whereas atheists are ready to discuss issues such as age-appropriate texts. Christians fixate on marriage being restricted to male and female unions and sex as an activity engaged in after marriage. These are positions which exclude people who think differently. This readiness of the left to discuss their position on education even extends to the topic of indoctrination. Atheists are willing to permit everyone to have their own opinions, so long as these opinions are negotiable. Christians have a need to protelyze. Atheists think if room for one religious view is allowed in the public square, all religious views ought to be given equal time, and that includes outlier religions such as Satanism and Wiccans. When confronted by transsexual athletes, secularists are willing to discuss testosterone levels, and time after puberty blockers are used and so on. They just want to have the debate. Christianity is a solution to every issue and a theory of everything. If we start from the point of Christian dogmatism, it is apparent concessions are viewed as a weakness and a strategic loss. If we view the left as an attempt to destroy or at least hobble Christianity, forcing them to make concessions is a victory. To make the distinction more obvious, think of Christianity as a baker. The baker has just baked a pie. The left is 10 people who love to eat pie. The left wants the pie. The baker is not willing to negotiate with the left how the pie is to be shared. If the baker is forced to negotiate with the left, any deviation from his original position is a victory for the left. This may not be a characterization the left wants to embrace, but to understand the right we must view the situation as the right views it. In Christian theology, God is the creator of the world. The world and all in it belongs to Him. God created the physical assets of the planet. Any negotiation that enables the left to claim some part of the natural world is a win for the left and secularism and a defeat for the Church. If Christians negotiate how much land the state ought to possess, the debate legitimizes the secularist state. Even if more property is returned to the Church or the Church given more autonomy, the fact the debate occurred gives the secularist position a legitimacy it does not have, at least within Christian theology. It follows that secularists cannot lose a debate. Regardless of the outcome of a negotiation with Christians, secularism benefits from achieving a negotiated settlement with the Church. It also follows that it is in secularism's best interest to push for a debate. A negotiated settlement legitimizes the division of the world between secularists and Christian. The left always pushes for an initial claim that it, in whatever guise it is assumed, has a right to exist. Once a life or identity has a right to exist, it can move towards full and equal rights in all areas. Even when discussing children's education or jail sentences, atheists initially just want a place at the table. At the moment that secularists have negotiated a recognition of the right to exist, for whatever element they support, Christians have lost their strategic advantage. To agree that evil has rights is a tactical error. Christians, by agreeing to negotiate or give the other side a place at the table, means they give up ground or legitimize ground held by atheists. There is nothing to gain from negotiation so far as the Church is concerned, and any Christian that engages in a debate with atheists over division of rights or property is engaging in a debate with the devil. Debates over how much of what belongs to God is the property of secularists is not a debate the Church can win.